Hi guys, it's April with Cricut-Crafting with April. I'm glad you guys could join me for today. We're going to put together what I call the Pocket Full of Posies card that I made last week. Several have been asking how I made this and how it went together. And we're going to be doing basically the same thing. We may be changing a few of the embellishments up, but it's basically the same card. And the envelope I hand stitched last week. We're not going to be hand stitching it this week just for time's sakes, but you can stitch this card. I did the front and the back. It is a dimensional envelope to hold that card. Let's go ahead and get started. Here are some of the supplies you're going to need, and I'll leave the links below for making this card. Now you can totally change these out for something else that you have in your stash, so you don't have to run out and purchase everything. I use Copic markers, and I use those Copic markers to clean up the edges of my cards where it's white. I don't like to see that white area on my cards, especially on a card like this. So I basically just go along the edges and cover those white areas so that when I roll this flower and give it some shape, those white edges don't pop up and draw your eye. You want the eye to be drawn to the flower and the dimension of it, and not the white edge that's showing where we put that together. And I've done that to all of my pieces except for the flower centers, because these are very small. And I did it on the other card, and it darkened them up quite a bit, and I wanted them to be a little brighter, especially on this darker surface. So I did that on those. I did it on these. And I went around the holes just to define them. On the other card, I did put a dot of the Nuvo drops in a blue color on there. You can totally do that, but for time purposes and drying times, I did not do that. I used a brown Copic marker to accentuate the holes on the card, and a blue one on the envelope. You can totally leave that off. You don't have to do that. Any marker will work. However, I did use Copics in colors that would match what I had. I used Bo Bunny Double Dots vintage paper. I got this on Amazon. Be careful when you purchase. They have two sizes. They have a 6x6 and a 12x12. You want the 12x12 unless you think you can get these cards out of a 6x6. And you can if you do it by hand. I don't know if you'll be able to cut it on your Cricut and get the pieces out. So you'll need that. And on the envelope, I used a 110-pound cardstock just to protect it, and for the base. So that's a very heavy, and this Bo Bunny is a heavy cardstock too. I'm going to say it's about a 80-pound. I could be wrong on that. We're going to need some art glitter glue. I've got mine in a different, smaller bottle, not to take up space. But you can get that on Amazon as well as from May Made It. These pieces, you can totally glue those down. I got a Creative Station that I bought off of HSN. You can get it on Amazon as well. And I wanted to play with it. So the larger pieces, I went ahead and put them on there just so I could play with it and see how it worked. You don't have to have that, but you could totally run a lot of these pieces through that. I wouldn't recommend it on the flowers because we're going to be rolling those. I'm going to be pop dotting these, so I didn't do those in that either. You're going to need your bone folder. And any of the areas, you'll need some kind of weeding tool to poke out anything that didn't come out when you cut your card. You're going to need the McGill flower set. That's available on Amazon.com as well. Your bone folder. And you're going to need your paper mat to roll those flowers. Let me grab some pop dots really quick, so that I have those, and we can use those for our, and foam squares for popping up a couple of these. Alright, let's get started putting the card together. First of all, you want to fold your base in half. I went ahead and did my envelope decoratively as far as the holes went, and got those prepared. Those are the only scores on this whole card. So to put the envelope together, once you have it scored, you're going to want to, let me move some of this out of the way so you guys can see. You're going to want to lay this piece flat, and if you're going to do anything decorative to it, now is the time to do it, because once you glue it together, you're going to cover up some edges and you won't be able to get to those as well. Let me move my Nuvo drops out of the way. We'll be using those a little bit later. You can totally use pearls or rhinestones. You don't have to have those, but you can get those from Amazon or Joann's. A couple of places sell those. We're going to take our art glitter glue and we're going to glue just that top edge, and if you can see that's like that channel there. You just want to get some glue on that edge there. Then I'm going to line it up, the edge of this envelope. I want to make sure that we get it lined up well. And you're just going to place that down to form the box. Hope you guys can see that I'm kind of lining this up. When I fold my sides up, I fold it flat to press it down and fold my sides up to make sure that I've got it in the right spot. And then you can open that back up. And that's why I said if you wanted to decorate, do that before you do this step, because we're covering that bottom line of holes. Next, you'll want to fold your sides up and do the same thing. Once you have everything cut out on this card and your decorative pieces trimmed out, this card is goes together pretty quick. And you're just going to make sure your edges line up here. You may need your bone folder to push out that bottom corner. Get it lined up. And then I can get my hand in there, so if you've got a small hand, mine's not really small, but I haven't glued the other side down yet. You can press those and get a good seal on that, and then the other side as well. And like I said, if it's pushed in too far for your liking, just take your bone folder before it sets up and push that out even. I flip it over and run my hand in there and give it a good press to make sure that everything is where it needs to be. I may have jiggled the camera there and give you guys a little bit of a shake. I apologize. And I dropped some pieces. Let me grab those back. Alright, and then you can set this envelope to the side, or you can go ahead and decorate it. I'm going to pull off, this is the one that I did with the Creative Station, and I'm just going to stick that down for now. And set it to the side, and I still need to add my flower to that. Next, you want to get your card base, and you'll want to take the piece that does not have the holes in it, and you can decide which way you want this one to go, if you want the lighter area to show through, as long as we've got those to where they'll line up. And I need my piercing tool again. Let me see. I forgot to get my brad. You're going to need a brad for this of some sort. You might be able to glue it. However, I think the brads work just a little bit better. They're a little bit more secure. I got these on sale. This is a K & Company. They're like an enamel brad. And we're going to be using one on this card. So I'm just going to take my art glitter glue. And as you can see, I went around the edges of this piece too with my Copic marker. You can use Crayola markers, anything that you like. Just get it close to the color of the cardstock you're using. And we're going to glue that panel onto the front. I'm doing mine upside down, so you guys bear with me. I may be a little bit slow on that. Next, you'll want to take this piece, and I think I want the lighter edge. No, I'm going to put the darker edge towards the bottom. I'm trying to decide which edge. Yeah, I want to do that edge. Okay, and before you glue this down, kind of find out which corner you want to roll over. And I roll mine on the edge of the table just to get a little curl on it. That's going to help me decide where I put that brad. And you don't want to go too deep. You still want to have room to put your sentiment over in the corner of this card. So I'm going to say right about there. And I'm going to hold that in place. And you can do this on your Cricut mat or on your flower mat. And I'm just taking my tool and I'm piercing that corner hole, and I'm piercing it through to the other side. Let's see. Let's use this little ladybug looking beetle brad. And you're going to put that brad through the first hole and into the back and open that up. And then you can turn it whichever direction you want before you close your card up, because it's going to be hard to get to afterwards. So that piece is going to look like that, and you're going to leave that rolled edge. Then you're going to take glue, and I am gluing just this edge here. And I'm going to make sure I got my card facing the right direction since I'm upside down, and line that up on that panel. We're going to give that a second to dry. I again used the Creative Station on this. I probably shouldn't have used it on this because that's going to be hard to position. But I'm going to place that doily inside that card. And you can fold it over to come onto the inside if you want. You can place it in there like that. And if you put glue in this area, then it's not going to be open as much to do that. So you may want to put that piece down before you put this piece on. Totally up to you how you do that one. Next, I like to use a pop dot or two for this piece. I think. I'm going to use that darker side. And you might need more than one on this just to give it a little support so it doesn't get pressed down. And I just use some various sizes on mine. You can use whatever you think is best to hold your card where you need it. I'm going to place that right about there. Press it down. Then I'm just going to use a single large pop dot in the middle of this piece and line it up. Oh, that's not quite center. Is it going to give it back to me? This is hard to do upside down, but I wanted you guys to be able to see more than me. So now we have that part of the card finished, and we can set that aside to dry and get a good hold with that glue on the pocket while we work on our flowers. But like I said, this is the McGill flower set and the pad. available on Amazon. And I like to roll all of my flowers and get those ready. And you're just going to take the big end of one of your tools and just give it some pressure and roll until your flower starts to cup up like this. I do each one of mine a little different. I may roll a few petals one direction, and you can totally flip these over. Not all of these have to be going in the same direction. I think I want to, let's see. And then I'm going to go in the center of this one. This is going to be the top of this flower, just to give it a little dimension. I like the dots on this one, so we'll go this way on this one as well. I know this is shaking the camera, and I'll try to get most of this shake out when I load the video. These flowers that have that split in them, you will need to glue those. Some of them have it, some of them don't. Once you have the shape that you like on the flower, just go ahead and glue that and set it to the side. That way it can be drying while we're doing the others. It should be glued to the outside. I don't know why I was trying to put that one to the inside. And we'll set that to the side. And I'm trying very hard not to shake the table while I do this. Since my camera is on the table, it's going to shake a little bit. Probably should have used another tripod or done these beforehand. But just get a good roll on all the flowers. And then you're going to glue those. Let that take hold. Art glitter glue is really super fast at holding and drying. It's one of my favorites. Do this one. I think we'll do the lighter side on that one. Alright. And you'll want to do the same thing for all of your centers. These go pretty quick. Doesn't take much to get these to cup at all. You can see how quickly and easily these little ones go. Still have to poke a couple holes. There we go. Little hanger-ons there, Chads. And these are the yellow centers for each one of the flowers. And then there's a couple extra, I think about 3 or 4, for the side of the card if you need them. You don't have to use them all. I also rolled my leaves, and I rolled those in different directions. So I did 2 or 3 in one direction and then did the others in another direction. You don't want them all going the same way. Give them some shape. That one. I might do this side for this one. That's the top. Now that we have those rolled, my butterfly, the first card that I just did one little butterfly, and I thought that maybe we would try to layer this one. So I'm just going down the center on these just to make them, the wings pop up. but I'm totally going to layer those, not have so many on the card. And that is all you have to do to get your flowers ready for the card. Once you have those rolled, you'll bring your card over, and I apologize, this is going to be upside down for you guys, and I'll flip it periodically, but I don't think I can arrange this upside down. I am going to take the large one and the small one on this, and I'm going to put a little glue on the center and place it in there. And if you want to put a pop dot in there just to make sure that your leaves stay up and don't get mashed down, you could do that on a couple of these. That's going to help give it a little height. Make sure it stays up. This flower I think I'm going to use on the envelope. I think I'll use this one on the envelope. So choose one of your larger ones for your envelope. Then you'll want to put your small leaf. And I just glue mine to the flap here. And you can, like I said, you can go ahead and put your pop dots on beforehand or after. That's totally up to you. I'm just going to use one on here, on that petal. If I can get it to peel for me. And then pop that down. Make sure my glue is holding. There we go. And that's going to, you can see the dimension coming in here. And then just glue your flowers wherever you'd like. Hold them for a second. And you can see this Bo Bunny paper, the variants and the colors, and that's why I like it. You can use one paper and get several different shades from one sheet without having to change sheets of paper on every single one. Pinch that one in there in that pocket just a little bit. And put that guy. I think I'm going to put that one right here on the outside. And then you can match these up to any of the flowers. The larger ones, of course, for the larger flowers. Let's put this little guy in this one here. Oops, stuck to my finger. I'm a messy gluer, so. And as you can see, that's starting to take shape there. And I've got some extras, like I said. Let's put that one over for the envelope. And we'll scatter a couple of these on to the front. I think I'll put an extra one on that envelope too. And that's where I'm going to let that one sit and dry for a minute while we work on this butterfly. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue, and I'm going to stack these. I think I'm going to reverse that one. Yeah, I like the dots up on that one, so I'm going to reverse it a little bit. We're just going to let that sit and dry after I put a couple of pop dots on there. I'll let that dry for a minute while we work on this. This is where I like to use the Nuvo drops, and you can use several colors. You can use one color depending on what you have handy. Just make sure that's coming out well. I'll put a black center on that one. And maybe on that one. And it's a pocket full of posies, which means a little set of flowers. So you can use different colors. Not all your flowers have to be the same, or you can use them, do them all the same. It's totally what you like. And I had a little boo-boo there. How big or little you make your centers. Again, pearls, rhinestones, whatever, different set shapes and sizes. Whatever works for you. And then maybe a couple of pink ones. Sure it's flowing out. Just when you do this, be careful. You don't want to touch these Nuvo drops once you've done that, because they will smear. It takes them about 15 minutes or so to set up a little bit, and probably about an hour to dry completely. If you've ever used glossy accents, about the same. And I'm going to take my butterfly. Got a little bit too much glue there. I'm going to pop up the wings a little bit. My glue squished out a little too much there. That's okay. I'm going to stick a pop dot in there, just to give it a little dimension. And then the same on the other side. Yes, I'm really liking that. And let's just glue that guy down right there. Or I have pop dots on him, so won't need glue. Can do it either way. But my camera battery died just as I was putting the Nuvo drops onto that card. As you can see, but that completed the card, just adding those Nuvo drops. And then all we had left to do was to glue down the flowers and put our Nuvo drops or rhinestones onto that envelope. And that completed the card. I thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe if you like my video, and that way you'll get notified of any new videos that are uploaded. Please subscribe to the Facebook group. And as always, all the links for any products that I used here you can find down below. Y'all have a wonderful crafting day.